YouTube. How's everybody doing this weekend? So, I'm going to go over a little bit on some things we've been discussing here at my house of propaganda and how it works and how we don't want it to work. We won't believe it affects us, but ultimately it does. And both sidesism, the Soviet tactic that was used quite effectively on the world stage by the Soviet Union against the United States through the Cold War, from Kennedy all the way through Reagan. And Vladimir Putin uses it very effectively even to this day. Um, and that is essentially, if you do something wrong or you know you're doing something wrong, you accuse the other side of what you are doing, whether it's true or not. And nothing is more evident of this and the power of a propaganda network than Kash Patel's FBI flight that was for nothing but to pick up his girlfriend and take her to a gig she had at Penn State University at a wrestling match. I believe it was WWE. Here's a little bit of what that was on Blue Sky here. So, as you can see, um, essentially, FBI Director Kash Patel flew the FBI private plane to pick up his girlfriend. I believe she lives in Kentucky. She's a country singer. And then he flew her to Pennsylvania and Penn State University to sing the national anthem at a pro wrestling event just to go out on a date. And so you may be asking, what does that have to do with both sides? Well, in the not too distant past, for those that remember, there was another administration official that used a private jet to go over to Europe on an official function and happened to take his husband. If you remember correctly, I'm speaking of Pete Buttigieg. And Fox News lost their fucking minds over this. I remember it was at least a month and a half of constant questions about Pete's use of a government jet to fly his husband and how did he reimburse the government for that? Did he do this? And it just it harkens back to the Obama tan suit issue, which I was a Republican at that time, and I still thought that was absolutely fucking ridiculous. But let's look at what they have to say about Pete Buttigieg. Let's just take a look at some of the videos and stuff like that on YouTube. How many there are? Okay. So you can see two. It was on Outnumbered. It was on the 5. Sean Hannity went all over it. Oh, apparently now U.S. Watchdog to audit Pete Buttigieg's private jet use. Calling out the hypocrisy, rules for thee but not for me, against Pete Buttigieg. If we go down further here, we could probably find more. And it was so bad that Pete Buttigieg actually went on Fox News multiple times in order to defend his use of the private jet, including the fact that first ladies used to attend that event and used to do that. So now, of course, that's the both sides of them. Of course, they knew that, Trump administration officials and the previous one used the private jet, administration jets and government jets in order to fly family members places and go on vacations and stuff like that. But now we're going to take a look at what Fox News has to say about Kash Patel. You can probably guess. I'm sure they're outraged, right? Where is it? Is it there? Am I missing it? Anybody? There's no possible Halloween attack. Kash Patel announces illegal sports betting. Hey, yeah. As completely expected, there is absolutely nothing, zero, on Fox News about Kash Patel's private jet use. This is literally a Soviet tactic of both sidesism. If you do something wrong, well, somebody else does it too, so it's fine. Propaganda works. It is an example of propaganda. Fox News Channel, of course, now there's TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. I refuse to call it X. And those networks are even more successful than Fox News, but Fox News is the granddaddy of them all. Let's face it. And it is not a news network. They have explicitly stated in court documents that they are not a news network, that they are an entertainment network, and therefore they are allowed to lie. But here's the problem. All right. There is no such thing on the left or even the center as what exists at Fox News and for the right wing. And now you have Tucker Carlson mainstreaming Nick Fuentes, who is a garbage human being. And this all goes back to a steady chain of propagandists and strategists from Germany. If you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth, which, of course, is Goebbels, to Roy Cohn, may he be in hell, getting awful things done to him constantly, where he taught you lie. If someone calls you out on a lie, you never apologize, you never defend, you attack, you attack, you attack. It happens to be that Donald Trump was an acolyte of Roy Cohn. Sound familiar? Right up to Soviet propaganda of both sidesism. So these tactics work. Fox News is a propaganda network. It uses the same tactics, the same things as all the way back to Germany and Joseph Goebbels or Roy Cohn. They always attack. They always attack. They never defend. They never come out and say, oh, I was wrong. In the same time that CBS was getting murdered and sued for things, you also had a Fox News host come out and say, hey, maybe homeless people should just be put to death. That's what is going on. And there is no equivalency on the left. So when I say that, Fox News will either memory hole, like never even bring up Kash Patel at all, or if somehow it does, they will mainstream it as well. You know, remember when Pete Buttigieg used a government jet to take Chasten to Europe? And that's how they'll normalize it, even though those two incidences were completely different. Pete was on an official travel trip as a delegate of the United States, as a representative of the United States. It is very common in those situations to bring a spouse. Kash Patel literally spent hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars to take his girlfriend on a date. There is a gulf of difference, and yet both sidesism will conflate that. Will make it seem like they're the same, even though one is a normal use of government aviation, and the other one is an egregious abuse of waste and fraud. But Fox News will conflate the two, if they even mention it at all. And that is the power of having a propaganda network. You can always go there to plead your case. They will carry the water for you and defend you without you having to do anything. Like Pete Buttigieg had to go on Fox News to defend himself. There is no similar thing on the center or the left. CBS News is not going to attack Kash Patel. ABC News is not going to do it. NBC News is not going to do it. MSNBC is not going to do it. CNN is not going to do it. They will not have a constant stream of running commentary of attacking Kash Patel. And with another administration tactic, they literally can't, but we'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, I appreciate you listening. Please hit like and subscribe, and have a good night, YouTube.